It's really odd. I think the mindset in actually composing a fragrance has changed, because I think the market has sort of expanded exponentially and there's so many sort of choices on offer, so much variety on offer. And what you need to do in a flooded market is stand out very quickly. And so if you want to stand out very quickly, you give prominence to the top notes. So the top notes need to be bang on to make an excellent first impression when someone's trying to go and try sort of 5, 10, 20 different fragrances, trying to search for a fragrance to purchase. So that is, I think, the mindset change between modern and vintage perfumery. Hi, very excited today because we've got a little bit of an unboxing. I haven't done an unboxing video for quite a while now, so I want to get straight into it. And you can probably already see, you probably already know by the title what I'm about to do. I'm about to unbox Tsar by Van Cleef and Arpels, and I'm also going to compare it to something that it usually gets compared to, and that is Jazz by Yves Saint Laurent. Now, Jazz came out first, I believe, and then the Tsar came out, which is, I think it came out in 1989. And I'll give you a brief history about it whilst I'm unboxing it. But yeah, I'll do a comparison. So I've got the sleeves rolled up so I can do a spray here and a spray there, and then we'll see how it goes. This is my old bottle. I've had this for quite a while, and I don't really have that much of it left. So I am very sparing with the sprays, and if Tsar is a really good alternative for it, then I'm happy. And this is a vintage Tsar as well, and I don't know which one it is exactly because it's kind of hard to tell. So let's get into the unboxing. Okay, a little bit of a close-up of my hands and doing all this stuff, but I guess this is a way that you can get a better view of an unboxing and a better experience of the unboxing. I'm going to put this Jazz in the back here and bring the Tsar forward. Now, this particular gift set kind of box I have not seen before. And so I'm a little bit suspicious, and considering this is a blind buy, this video might turn out to be a very big disappointment, like some other unboxings of blind buys that I've done in the past. I've got inside a 50ml eau de toilette and a deodorant stick, which I don't think I'll be using, especially considering this might be from somewhere in the mid to late 90s, this particular box. And I can tell that because of what it says here. It says that it's been distributed by Arpels Limited, and this was from 1995 to around 1999-2000 before they got taken over by the Gucci PPR group. Before that, it was part of Sanofi, so that's what pretty much shared the same owners as Yves Saint Laurent at that particular time. This is a Parfums Corp bottle. This is, like I said, original formulation. Let's see if this one is the original formulation. Tsar in its packaging. And I could also tell that it was pre-2000s because of the fact that it's got a short ingredients list here. It does not have all of the mandatory requirements of ingredients listing that came in around 2004, 2005. So let's have a look at that. Let's open this up, hoping that because it's so old, the glue on the packaging will allow me to open it very, very easily, as it does. It should just come apart just like that. There it is, and that's gone. Let's get that out of the way and open it up. Okay. Oh, very old school. They usually come with a little leaflet, as old school vintage fragrances generally did. They came with a little leaflet, maybe a little bit of an explanation as to what's going on here and the house itself. I'll put this in the back and pull out the, oh, here we go. The deodorant stick, which has a bit of dust has gotten in there somehow. I have no idea how, considering it's a sealed, and I can smell it already. I hope this has been kept well. This is sealed. this is sealed. I can smell it through there actually. It smells pretty good, as a matter of fact. I'll put this over here and let's pour out the star of the show, which is this guy here. There it is. There's the bottle of Tsar Eau de Toilette. And let's have a look at the bottom. You can make that out. If I could maybe bring it there. It does say that it has been distributed by Adipar. Okay, and is there a batch code on here? Yes, there is. It does say 8CO4. I don't know what that means. 8CO4. That could be from, matter of fact, that could be from 2008, actually. But I don't know if they came in a bottle like this in 2008. So, yes, this is not the see-through bottle. It's been through 3 formulations, this one. The original bottle, which is the marbled sort of green effect, which I think is this one here. And then there is the see-through light green ribbed bottle with the golden sort of top. And there is also the last reformulation, which is in the dark green translucent bottle with the black sort of cap as well. So I think this is the first one. Let's spray this guy on here. I'll spray it on my right arm. Let's go like this. Pump it up. Okay. Just like that. Okay. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, let's chuck Jazz on over here. Whoa, just knocked it over. Fantastic viewing. And my atomizer on the Jazz, seen better days. Ooh, Jazz has come on super duper strong. Let's give those two a little bit of time to settle and play with my skin, and then we'll come back to it and see if Tsar is a pretty close equivalent to Jazz. All right, we're back. I've let this settle a little bit on my skin now, whilst giving it a little bit of a test and comparing one with the other. I've got Jazz on my left and I've got Tsar on my right. And what's the verdict? They're quite similar. I mean, they're both technically classed as woody aromatic, sort of since they fall into that category, and they share a lot of notes. However, the vibe is the same, but the scent is different. And that could be because, well, I'm almost finished with my bottle of Jazz. I think maybe I've got about 20 or 30 mils left in this bottle, and I've had it for quite a long time. Meanwhile, I've just opened the Tsar, and there is, of course, this debate going on about maceration and letting air into the bottle. However, the scent I can pick up is quite similar, and it's going to probably dry down very much the same with oak moss and leather. However, with the Jazz, I get everything. You know, it's very jazzy. What can I say? At the start, it's quite sharp, and it does come across as something that is not very safe in terms of a blind buy these days. However, once it starts to get into the mids, it starts to mellow out, and all the aromatics start to come to the fore. Meanwhile, on the Tsar, I've got to remind myself again, I'm getting a lot of Artemisia right away, and I know what that smells like, and that's why I can recognize it. I don't get much else other than the bergamot. The coriander is in here as well. Artemisia, because Artemisia is bitter and sort of herbal, and I'm getting that quite a bit. I haven't gotten any. There's no sort of effervescence of juniper or anything like that just in there just yet. And I think with these sort of oldish, more, I don't know what you call them, powerhouse-ish sort of fragrances, sort of regulated ingredients lists, you really need to give them a lot more time to start to mellow out. To let the fragrance really speak and really shine, it takes a lot more time. In the modern fragrances, I'm noticing, yeah, maybe 10 to 30 minutes and you're past the top notes already. Whereas the old school ones, the vintage ones, and especially ones that haven't been reformulated from previous to 2005 all the way to 1980s and such, I find that you give them an hour or so to get past the opening until you get to the mid, and then you get to sort of experience really what that fragrance is about. It's really odd. I think the mindset in actually composing a fragrance has changed. From what I've seen in vintage perfumery, I think the goal was to have somebody smelling like the entire bouquet of notes at a particular point in time. And that point in time, I think, was once the mids had sort of developed and you were moving into the dry down. And the mids are still quite prominent and the top notes are still faintly in the background. That's where you're going to get the most life out of the fragrance once the sort of base notes start to kick in. And that was the composition that I think old school perfumery was going for. Instead, what we get with modern perfumery is that, because I think the market has sort of expanded exponentially and there's so many sort of choices on offer, so much variety on offer, and what you need to do in a flooded market is stand out very quickly. And so if you want to stand out very quickly, you give prominence to the top notes. So the top notes need to be bang on to make an excellent first impression when someone's trying to go and try sort of 5, 10, 20 different fragrances, trying to search for a fragrance to purchase. So that is, I think, the mindset change between modern and vintage perfumery. And keeping that in mind, I think that giving extra amounts of time for these two to develop on my arm, I'll probably be continuing to smell them throughout the night because it is nighttime here. These are artificial lights. I'm getting a bit more lavender and nutmeg, I think, coming out of there. Meanwhile, this is still in, actually, I get a bit of a soapy vibe out of this. And it's actually starting to die down. Whatever that was at the very beginning, that sort of really bitter, sort of herbal sort of element, it could have been a little bit of rosemary in there as well, in terms of the herbal element, mixing with the bitter sort of artemisia. And I think that's starting to fade away. It's been quite a bit now, so I'm hoping that it's fading away slowly. But I do still have the coriander, and there's a lot of bergamot as well. I get the hints of the oak moss and the leather coming in. But I think that will be later on in the dry down, where I'll really get to experience the oak moss opening up and playing with the leather. Just the traditional partners in terms of base notes of vintage perfume. And I call it vintage. Anything that's pretty much before 2005, I'll consider it as a vintage. But anyway, that first impression so far has been pretty good. As always, first impressions aren't really that impressive, but we will come back and revisit this because Tsar is probably the best done. Like, it's not the only woody aromatic, it's not the first woody aromatic, but in terms of like the woody aromatic family of fragrances, it's probably up there as amongst the best of the best. And this first formulation is up there amongst the top of that as well, arguably. So that has been my unboxing and first impression and comparison of Tsar by Van Cleef and Arpels, and comparing it against Jazz by Yves Saint Laurent. A little bit of vintage perfumery going on in this particular video, and I hope you enjoyed that as much as I enjoyed smelling it and opening these up and pulling the old bottle of Jazz out of the wardrobe, because I haven't seen it for a very long time. So yeah, thanks again for joining me, and thanks as always for watching.